Everyone teaches you how to push buttons in Ad Manager, but nobody teaches you how to think like a creative strategist. And that is exactly what I'm going to do in today's video. I'm Fraser, one of the co-founders at Fraggle. We work with D2C brands that you see on your feeds every single day, and we have over 450 million in tracked ad spend. Today, I'm going to share with you the framework that we have used to help scale hundreds of D2C brands. So if you want to master how to think creatively, this is the perfect guide for you. Before we get into hook, script, production, let's get one thing straight. Meta ads are still just ads, and ads work because of human psychology. The principles haven't changed since the print era. We're talking like Mad Men ads. Attention, you need to stop the scroll. Curiosity, you want to make someone want to find out more. Emotion, you need to make someone feel something, make them laugh, make them cry, whatever, just make them feel something. And the meta ads that actually work are the ones that tick all those boxes, and they make a genuine connection with the potential customer. If you get that, then you're already one step ahead of 99% of the advertisers on Meta. So next up, creative research. How do we actually get the ideas? I have written so many scripts. I have thought of so many concepts at this point that I feel like I could probably do most of this in my sleep. And I can tell you right now that the ideas do not come from staring at a blank Google Doc. I've done that many times and it just simply doesn't work, no matter how much you will it to happen. Instead, they come from research, deep and intentional research. We need to know as much as we possibly can do about the brands and the products that we're making ads for. I'm hoping if you are a brand owner, then you already know quite a lot about your brand, but do you know a lot about your customer? Because that is the secret unlock. So the key here is to learn more about your customer, and the best place to do that is to go to the places where your customer hangs out. Essentially, you need to be fishing in the right ponds. A couple of best places to do this research, number one being Reddit. There's a reason why 90% of searches on Google end with Reddit at the end of them, is because it's a great place to find out the real opinion of others. Customers go there to complain, customers go there to shout your praise, and if you have a look on there, then you will see a lot of information that you are not normally privy to. There's been times where we've literally print screened a Reddit thread and used that in a static because it was just absolute gold. In fact, I actually recently made a video on how you can use Reddit and AI to do exactly that. There's a link to it somewhere up here. Reddit is just an absolutely fantastic place to do a ton of research. Another one is your reviews. If someone has gone to the effort to leave a review on your website, they either love your product or they absolutely hate it. And so it's a really great place to find out why people like your product and why people hate your product. Read your Amazon reviews. If you're on there, read your own reviews that people are submitting via your website. Go on Trustpilot. All these places where people are leaving reviews about your brand and your products are great places to find out more about your customer. And when you're doing this, you want to look at patterns, potentially patterns you haven't even thought about. For example, are people saying they use your product when they're pregnant and you've never made an ad about your product being used for pregnant women? Well, there you go. That's an ad angle. You just come up with one just from reading your reviews. You'd be shocked how many times this happens. I download a client's reviews, I input them into ChatGPT, and I come up with like 5 or 6 use cases that they never even knew the product was being used for. The next one is your ad comments. If you are a brand that's spending a lot of money, the chances are your ads are getting a lot of engagement. And so use that engagement because you've paid for it. So why don't you have a look at it and see if there's any hidden gems in there? Are people talking about your products in a positive light? Are they once again giving use cases? Your ads are essentially focus groups. It's people tagging friends in there. It's people talking about when and how they've used your product. And so you need to read these religiously. One of my favorite pastimes is whenever an ad comes up on my feed that we've made, I love going into the comments and I love reading them, both to see what people think of the ad. It's a great way to get like honest feedback. Do people actually like this ad? But also just to learn more about how your customer speaks. What language are they using? Another great place is your competitors' ads. Obviously, ad library is somewhere that most marketers live. At this point, you can search out any brand or phrase and you can see the ads that they're running. But also you can use tools like Foreplay, where people are actively saving ads. You can click on them, you can discover more ads that people are saving live. It's a great place for inspiration in general, not just from your competitors. One thing to note here though is if you are only just copying your competitors, your ads are going to look like your competitors. And surprise, surprise, if someone is into fitness, they're being targeted by you and all your competitors. So if your ads look like your competitors, then you are not going to stand out from the crowd and you are going to lose sales. So instead, if you're using these aggregate sites like Foreplay, look in different niches, look at different types of ads that you could potentially bring to your product. And also finally, we've got AI. This kind of goes without saying, but this is probably one of the best ways to quickly research your brand. You can use Claude, you can use ChatGPT, you can use Gemini, whatever it is, they all kind of do the same thing. Some people say Gemini is great, other people say that ChatGPT is great. Personally, I love ChatGPT. I think it's just really easy to use. I can use a deep research tool in there. It pretty much does exactly what I want it to, but I have started to dabble with other things like Gemini because, well, it's Google, isn't it? When you're conducting this research, it's really important that you make a folder on Google Drive where you save all this research. Not only can it help further down the line when you're integrating AI into your workflow, you can input these research documents to give the AI context, but also it's just a great place just to revert back to see how your customer compares now to how they did 3 years ago. Okay, so now we've done the research. That arguably is the longest part that most people don't want to do, but if you spend time on it, it will be the thing that gives you the creative edge. And of course, the more you do it, the better you will get at it and the faster you will be. But let's move on to the next thing. Let's talk about ideas and angle generation. There's a couple of ways that you can do this. You can literally just wing it if you want, or you can use some kind of idea matrix or something like that. At Fraggle, we often use the angle, which is the idea, the concept. We think of a hook to go along with that and then a format. So the first thing we need to do is identify those angles, concepts, whatever you want to call them, it's all the same thing. But essentially, this is the core positioning, the core messaging of your ad. So for example, if we're talking about protein bars, better tasting than the competitors could be one. Cleaner ingredients, that could be another one. And if we think of a use case, potentially it's more convenient for busy parents on the go. They are all messaging. They're key angles that we can target, and most importantly, we can test. So once I've got my messaging, I normally like to think of some kind of idea, and then from that idea, I like to think of a hook. And remember, a hook is just the first 3 seconds of your ad, and its pure purpose is to capture attention. So let's say that we're going with the taste better than the competitors. Hook number 1 could be a taste test. Hook number 2 could be, I've tried 10 of the top protein bars and this one's my favorite. And hook number 3 could be someone coughing up sand with the caption, most protein bars taste like the desert. We're thinking of fun, entertaining, educational ways in order to show people your idea, your messaging, to interest people and potentially to open the loop. I always use this example, but think about Mr. Beast. He normally starts every single video by saying, I locked 200 people in an ice cave and here's what happened. That is a hook and you're opening the loop because people have to watch the video to find out what happened. It's the same reason why on TV shows they say, tune in next week to find out if blah, 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 blah. We're opening the loop because people naturally want to close them. Next up is the format. Now, we don't always pick the format last. You can do these in any order. You could come up with a great hook and go, that will make a great UGC video. Or you can come up with a messaging first. Or you might look at your ad account and go, we need more founder ads. Now you've got your format first, let's work that way instead. So just because I've listed it in this order does not mean that you necessarily have to do it. You just need these 3 things. So if we're talking about format, obviously there's a number of different formats for ads. We've got UGC ads, static ads, founder ads, podcast ads, the list goes on. And the idea here is that you can test a format with a messaging and then you can see how that performs. Is it a messaging that perhaps we could pursue a bit further? Maybe we could try that same messaging as a static. We're testing things to see what works because you might find a winning message that only works in a static format. You could find a format that only works with a specific messaging, and the only way we're going to find that out is through testing. So for example, the Black Stuff, a brand that we work with, we made a couple of ads for their new product, which was a new shower cloth, and the messaging was, this shower cloth is better and cleaner than the current one that you have, which is probably a dirty washcloth. And so we tried this in a couple of different formats, the first one being a podcast.
So one question we got asked is, what is the biggest mistake guys make when showering?
Oh man, it's definitely the washcloths they're using.
Yeah.
So most guys don't realize after just a few uses, those regular washcloths have got more bacteria on them than a toilet seat.
And then we also wanted to try it in a UGC format, which is this.
Breaking news! Just in, the average man's washcloth contains more bacteria than a dog's mouth. This thing is basically licking you clean every shower.
You can see the ads are different. The format is obviously clearly different, but the messaging is very, very similar. The cloth that you are using now is inferior to what we have at the black stuff. And so now what we can do is test both of those and see what format works. What does the customer connect with the most? That is essentially creative testing. That is creative strategy at the soul of it. Thinking up new ideas, different messaging, different format, testing them, see what works, see what performs best, and then scaling. Now we've got the angles, we've got the hooks. Now let's talk more about the formats, when to use them, and why we should use them. Because believe it or not, most formats actually belong in a certain funnel stage. Listen, we spoke about the funnel many a times before, top, middle, and bottom of the funnel. All depends on how aware the customer is. So with that in mind, we also need to make sure that we tailor the format of the ad to how aware the customer is. So, top of the funnel. This is where people have no idea who you are. They have never seen you. They've never heard of you before. Normally, these people are often also problem unaware. They have no idea what the problem is that you're also trying to solve. So, we need to educate them on a couple of things, yourself and the problem that you fix. So, how do we do that? We want content that is very easy to consume and normally educational. UGC ads are a great example of this. They normally introduce you and the product in a natural and organic way. For example, this is one that we made for Aloha.
Here's all the Aloha bars we got. Oh my gosh. I've tried Quest RX bar but it was Aloha bars I kept reaching for in the end.
A more recent trend that's come about is street interviews. These fit very well into the organic feed because it feels like something that you would see on your TikTok feed, and therefore very good for introducing people to the brand and the product. This is one that we did for the black stuff.
I want you to take a smell of this soap and tell me what you think it's made of.
And another great example is founder ads. This is one of my favorites.
This man discovered the secret to the perfect deodorant smell. If a man uses deodorant like this, then I'm sorry to say that that is no man.
People really connect with story. Storytelling is becoming more and more important inside your meta ads. And founder ads in general fit that formula absolutely perfectly because you're telling the story of someone who had a problem and developed a product for that problem. We want to build trust, we want to build authority, we want to educate people. All this happens at the top of the funnel. Next, of course, is the middle of the funnel. People are a little more aware of you. They're probably problem aware. They might not be product aware yet, but we're going to get them there. And this is where things like mini VSLs are absolutely perfect. Very, very heavy educational. We want to educate, we want to build some kind of desire. Also, another great example here, which is really fast and easy to make and test, are mashup ads. I've spoken about these numerous times. I think these are pretty incredible and every brand should be making them. Get an archive of all of your footage, of all of your UGC footage, raw stuff, no captions, mash it all together with an AI voiceover. Hey presto. You can test these really quickly, multiple different messagings and hooks. They're fantastic. Another great format for this is the podcast ad. These are a little bit hit and miss. They don't always work for every brand that we test them with. However, this example from the Cure app was one of their top performers in the ad account and was a real pleasure to make as well.
What time do your cravings hit hardest?
9 o'clock every single night.
Tonight, I want you to try something that seems too simple to work, but changes everything.
What is it?
15 minutes with this and wake up with less cravings tomorrow.
Really educational, but most importantly, they position you and your product as the best and only solution. Now, bottom of the funnel, these people are pretty much ready to purchase. And so usually what I suggest here is static ads. They're the easiest to pump out and normally give you the best results. Just a simple static ad can do absolute wonders for your ad account. Of course, we can have offer-based ads. These are where we drive a little bit of urgency here. We say, you can get limited time 30% off because Meta is going to deliver these to people who are ready to purchase. They just need that extra push, and an offer can be just that. A video format we can use here is like testimonial compilations. You can get these by simply reaching out to your customers, give them something for free, and they record you a video. It's like UGC, but real UGC. We do quite a lot of these for the black stuff, and honestly, the results are pretty astounding sometimes. You'll be shocked how many customers you have that absolutely love your product. product. The format should always match the intent, not just the trend. I mentioned street interviews and I mentioned podcasts. These are trendy formats, to be honest. I don't know whether they'll stick around. They haven't really been around for that long. And so you need to make sure that when you're doing this, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Make sure you try multiple different formats with the same messaging. In fact, I recently made a video with my top 10 ad formats that are converting like crazy right now. If you want to watch that, there is a link up there as well. You might want to check out that before deciding exactly what you're going to invest your money into. A great example here is Leaf Shave, right? We used UGC videos at the top of the funnel to introduce people to the product and show a use case and show real people using it. But then we use VSLs to further educate people on why they exist and why you should choose Leaf over anybody else. Different formats for different parts of the funnel. Now, finally, let's talk about actually producing these ads. Honestly, there's no real secret formula to this. At Fraggle, we really do make it all. We have a huge studio here, 2,500 square foot of content creation madness, which allows us to make, studio level high production ads. But then we can also make really ugly, scrappy UGC or quickly mashed together mashup videos or even polished founder ads. We can really do it all here because sometimes it is needed. Finding an agency that can do all these things is sometimes required. But for some other people, perhaps you're a small time founder, then you might want to look at doing, formats that you can actually produce well. Every single brand, no matter the level, they all run meta ads. Mercedes-Benz, they run ads. The $20 t-shirt brand, they also run meta ads. Different production levels, same ad, same attention game. But regardless of the production level, regardless of whereabouts you are, there's a couple of core principles. Number one, speed beats perfection. At the end of the day, it's going to be the ad that you spend the less time on that's going to be the best performing. So if you have an idea, go and make it. It doesn't matter on the format. Sometimes you just need to get it out and test it. Don't spend 4 weeks perfecting one ad because the chances are it might not perform. Clarity over aesthetics. Listen, you can make an ad look absolutely beautiful, but if you're not getting the point across to the viewer of the video, it's completely pointless. I watched an ad recently and it looked brilliant. I had no idea what was going on. And so I turned it off because clarity, it always wins. And finally, your editing should serve the emotion of the ad. Your editing should simply amplify what you want your customer to feel, not distract from it. I see so many videos where it's just full of cheap transitions that they've downloaded from a template website and there's no actual substance. They've just tried to polish a turd. You can put as much glitter as you want on it, it's still a turd. The beauty of meta ads is that the more researched, the more well-rounded your ad is, the better it's going to perform. And you're going to get first-hand data as well. You're going to actively see retention graphs. You're going to see numbers on how well your ad is performing that you can then use to make better ads. And there we go. You now know the exact formula that we use here at Fraggle to make top performing ad creatives. And this is the exact framework we use, by the way. We scaled 7, 8, and 9 figure D2C brands with exactly what I've just taught you. So if you happen to be a brand that's spending over 70,000 on ad creative, I would absolutely love to have a conversation with you. So just scan the QR code on the screen or click the link down below and you can book a call with me and you can have a little face-to-face. And if you do want to see more videos like this and you want to learn more about creative strategy and ad creative in general, then please do subscribe. It's been a real joy to see the channel thrive over the past couple of months. Leave a comment if you have any questions and also, of course, like the video and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.